until I saw my parents appear at a luxurious banquet hall to host an extravagant birthday party for their adopted son. I finally realized that my 20 years of life had been a complete lie. The parents I had cared for all these years were not sick at all and were actually very wealthy. In that moment, I hated my parents to the core. I remembered when I was 6 years old on my very first birthday, my mom gave me a toy car. When I flipped it over, I saw another child's name carved on the bottom. My mom just smiled awkwardly and explained that our family had no money and she could only spend 10 yen on a second-hand toy. I didn't complain because I knew how poor our family was. Even the clothes I wore were hand-me-downs from others. I had no money to replace my broken shoes. Even at school, my classmates often mocked me for being poor. As I grew up, I wanted to change my fate through studying and give my parents a better life. But in the year I was admitted to a top university abroad, my father fell ill again. To pay for his surgery, I secretly gave up my chance to study overseas without telling my parents. I went to a construction site to do the dirtiest, hardest jobs to earn money. I even knelt down and barked like a dog in front of my boss just to get an advance on my next month's wages. I barely managed to save up 100,000, but then the doctor told me the condition had worsened and the surgery would now cost 500,000. In despair, I saw an illegal advertisement on the wall. I gritted my teeth and sold one of my kidneys just to hand over the surgery money to my father. To keep my parents from worrying, I endured the pain and lied that the money came from working. My father said he was heartbroken and the illness wasn't worth me sacrificing so much, but I forced a smile and said it was all worth it. I told my father to focus on recovering and that I was willing to do anything as long as he got better. After saying that, I told them to rest and that I had to go back to work. The moment I left, my mom complained to my father for being too cruel, saying that in my 20 years of life, I had never even celebrated a single birthday with them. My father brushed it off, saying it was all for my own good, and that not celebrating birthdays was to toughen my will. But then he changed his tone and said today was the adopted son's birthday, and he was throwing a grand party for him at a 5-star hotel, and told my mom not to forget to prepare an expensive gift. Coincidentally, that party was being held at the hotel where I worked. Soon my parents arrived, dressed to the nines with the adopted son at the luxury hotel. I was standing at the entrance lined up with other staff to welcome guests. Because my head was lowered the whole time, I didn't immediately recognize my own parents. But shortly after, the manager came and told me that the son of the tycoon had specifically asked for me to serve. I didn't think much of it. The moment I stepped into the banquet hall, I happened to see my own parents happily singing a birthday song for the adopted son. To confirm if the two people on stage were really my parents, I picked up my phone and called my mom's number. But on the phone, my mom lied, saying they were still at the hospital and didn't need me to stay with them. That call shattered my last illusion. What I didn't expect was that the supervisor who made me kneel and bark like a dog was actually one of my father's subordinates. They had been putting on an act from the beginning, all in the name of so-called training me. In that moment, any sense of gratitude I had for my parents was gone, replaced only by endless hatred. Because of their lies, I endured